London is no stranger to protests, with its long history of marches, rallies, and public demonstrations echoing through its streets. The city has often been a stage for passionate voices and political movements, each leaving its mark on the capital's collective memory. But Saturday, September 13th, 2025, was different, a day that would be remembered for its scale, intensity, and the shockwaves it sent across the nation. One of the largest far-right demonstrations in modern British history, the Unite the Kingdom rally, took over the city, drawing people from all corners of the country and beyond. Tens of thousands attended, with a heavy police presence and a tense, almost electric atmosphere. The city's usual rhythm was replaced by chants, sirens, and a sense of unpredictability. The day ended with injuries, arrests, and a sense of national unease. Emergency services worked tirelessly as clashes broke out, and the aftermath left many questioning how things had escalated so quickly. What truly set this event apart, however, was a surprise video appearance by Elon Musk, broadcast on a giant screen to a stunned crowd. Musk's speech wasn't just support, it was a direct, shocking intervention in British politics, delivered with the force and reach only a global tech titan could command. He called for the dissolution of Parliament and warned of coming violence, sending shockwaves through the country and dominating headlines for days. This script will break down that chaotic day, who organised the rally, why Musk intervened, and what it means for Britain's future in a rapidly changing world. This wasn't just another protest, it was a collision of technology, global influence, and local anger, amplified by social media and watched by millions worldwide. Musk's involvement forced the UK to confront tough questions about free speech, political power, and deep social divisions that have been simmering for years. This is the story of that day, a day when London, and perhaps the world, changed in ways no one could have predicted. The rally was organised by Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, a man who has become one of the most controversial figures in modern British politics. Robinson is notorious for his outspoken views and his role in the British far right, often making headlines for his provocative actions and rhetoric. As the co-founder of the English Defence League, Robinson built a movement that attracted thousands, despite his long criminal record and frequent clashes with the law. Yet he has managed to amass a large and loyal online following, using social media to amplify his message far beyond the streets. The Unite the Kingdom rally was his boldest move yet, promoted as a patriotic stand against what he calls government failures on immigration and national security. Robinson framed the event as a call to action for those who feel left behind. Police estimated that over 100,000 people attended, making it one of the largest far-right gatherings the UK has ever seen, and a clear sign of growing unrest. The crowd was a striking mix, waving UK, US and Israeli flags, with many donning MAGA hats, a symbol of alignment with the American right and its populist energy. This international flair highlighted the rally's broader ideological connections. The event made it clear that anti-immigrant sentiment is no longer a fringe belief in Britain. It now commands a substantial and vocal following, cutting across age and background. Even as the Reform UK party rises in the polls, its leaders have been careful to distance themselves from Robinson's more extreme positions, wary of being associated with his brand of activism. The rally showcased a more confrontational and angry edge of the British right, united by a sense of betrayal and the belief that their voices are being ignored by those in power. Many attendees expressed deep frustration, convinced that their country was changing for the worse and that mainstream politicians were failing to address their concerns or even listen. Into this volatile and charged environment, Elon Musk projected his voice, lending global attention and legitimacy to a movement that feels both emboldened and embattled. The rally's defining moment came when Elon Musk appeared on giant screens, speaking with Tommy Robinson. Musk launched a direct attack on the British political system, calling for the government's immediate removal. "We don't have another 4 years," Musk declared. "There's got to be a dissolution of Parliament and a new vote." For a foreign billionaire to demand the overthrow of a democratically elected government was unprecedented. The crowd erupted in applause, feeling validated by Musk's support. Critics saw this as reckless interference, lending credibility to a movement seeking to disrupt the political order. Musk's demand wasn't just commentary, it was a direct challenge to British democracy. The implications were profound, raising questions about tech leaders' roles in global politics. The moment marked a new level of foreign influence in UK affairs. Musk's speech took a darker turn as he warned violence was inevitable. "Whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you," he told the crowd. He framed it as a wake-up call for the political middle, insisting neutrality was no longer possible. "You either fight back or you die," Musk said, painting a picture of society on the brink. Speaking to an already agitated crowd, his words felt like a call to arms. Critics called his rhetoric dangerously irresponsible, especially given his global influence. Musk claimed he was warning the reasonable centre, but his words poured fuel on the fire. On a day that would see real violence, his prediction blurred the line between warning and incitement. The speech left many questioning whether Musk was observing unrest or encouraging it. Musk also attacked what he calls the woke mind virus, blaming progressive ideas for society's decline. He described it as super racist, super sexist, and anti-Christian, portraying progressives as hostile to traditional values. Musk argued for a merit-based society, dismissing efforts to address systemic inequality. To the rally, this validated their belief that woke policies unfairly disadvantage them. Musk then made a false claim that US conservative activist Charlie Kirk had been murdered by the left, when Kirk was, in fact, alive. This baseless accusation inflamed the crowd, deepening paranoia and division. By painting opponents as evil and violent, Musk's rhetoric made compromise impossible. The speech highlighted how misinformation and extreme language fuel the modern culture war. Musk wasn't the only controversial figure at the rally. The stage featured far-right personalities from Britain and abroad, underlining the event's global connections. French politician Éric Zemmour promoted the racist Great Replacement theory, linking European far-right movements. British figures like Katie Hopkins and Lawrence Fox, and Germany's Peter Byström, added to the inflammatory rhetoric. Their collective message, their nations were under threat, and drastic action was needed. The speakers painted themselves as patriots fighting a corrupt elite, reinforcing the crowd's anger. This echo chamber set a dangerous tone for the day. The far-right rally faced opposition from a counter-protest organised by Stand Up to Racism. Around 5,000 people gathered nearby, standing for diversity and unity against hatred. Their message? Tommy Robinson and his followers do not represent Britain. Speakers like MP Diane Abbott condemned the rally's rhetoric as dangerous lies. The counter-protest showed London and the world that there's another vision for the country. Police worked to keep the groups apart, preventing direct clashes. Chants of "No Passaran" echoed, symbolising resistance to fascism. Though outnumbered, the counter-protest was a powerful symbol of opposition. Their presence ensured the voice of unity was heard on a tense day. Despite heavy policing, violence erupted as tensions boiled over. Protesters clashed with police, throwing bottles and projectiles. A police horse was injured. Officers in riot gear struggled to contain the chaos, with sirens and scuffles filling the air. At least 26 police officers were injured, 4 seriously, and 25 arrests were made. The violence was a grim confirmation of the day's inflammatory rhetoric. Authorities had warned that such a large, angry crowd was a recipe for disaster. The clashes showed that words from figures like Musk and Robinson had real-world consequences. Aggression felt justified to some, turning protest into riot. The day ended with wounded officers and a shaken public. The government's response was swift and unequivocal, with officials condemning the violence in the strongest terms and promising that those responsible would face prosecution. The sense of urgency was clear, as leaders sought to reassure the public that order would be restored and justice served. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood called the attacks on police disgraceful, emphasizing that such actions would not be tolerated under any circumstances. She vowed to use the full force of the law, promising increased police presence and a thorough investigation into the events. Political leaders from across the spectrum quickly distanced themselves from the rally, insisting the far right does not speak for Britain and reaffirming the country's commitment to democratic values and inclusivity. The challenge now is to address the deep divisions the event exposed as communities grapple with fear, anger, and uncertainty about the future. Musk's involvement added an international dimension, drawing global attention to the unrest and amplifying its impact far beyond the UK. His presence raised urgent questions about foreign influence, the power of digital platforms, and the role of tech leaders in shaping political discourse. Musk's speech escalated his conflict with UK authorities, turning what began as criticism into direct support for a radical movement. This shift emboldened protest leaders and energized supporters, moving the situation from isolated unrest to a broader, more organized campaign. The rally demonstrated the far right's growing organization and reach, as well as their ability to mobilize large crowds and coordinate messaging. Their efforts were boosted by global figures like Musk, whose endorsement gave the movement unprecedented visibility and momentum. The violence and heated rhetoric left a scar on the nation, shaking public confidence and deepening social divides. The country now faces a reckoning with extremism and division, as leaders and citizens alike search for ways to rebuild trust and unity. The UK must now decide how to heal and respond to a radicalized, globally connected far right, and whether it can come together to defend its values in an increasingly turbulent world.